Hello there, this is Cookies. I've got turn 26 of Asphodel. So we've got a fair amount going on here. We caught a fair number of battles. I forget if there were any of significance. Catch a little Serpent Cataphract raid, not a big deal. Just freezes fort, because he had 2 forts under siege. And then here we see Machaka bringing a number of spooters in, going after these knights. So this was a knight event that has been sieging one of his forts for a while. So he's getting rid of the knights. Alright. Pretty spooky. He's got attack skill, I think from a throne, regen, and berserker for a bless. So that was here. Then in Mark, we've got an assassin that got patrolled out by a large Knit of Anger army. Either that or it was a ping. Doesn't really matter. He might have been scripted to retreat too, for all I know. We see an Abyssian squad going after Shinyama PD. And the Lava Warriors have Unholy Weapons, Poison Resistance, Fate Weaving, Disease Resistance, and Larger. So a very expensive, mostly Incarnate Bless. All right. In Elder Hill, just a whole bunch of Asphodel stuff. We catch out a little bit of stuff here. There's a mage that must have forgotten to run, and a few sacreds. We're trying to dodge magma bolts. Alright. So we lose 1 black centaur. He does get us with a magma bolt. Crafty golem crafter. Then in Mountains of Mist, we see Scalaria continuing to march forward against a smaller Calum army, but this time he's brought his Pretender. But no gear on the Titan. It is a Titan, right? Yeah, it's like a small Titan. Fire 6, Death 8, though, with iFlight's mod. It's got Ethereal, it has Fear. Fear is not going to play a part here, but Ethereal helps. As long as he puts up Fire Shield, he could kill a lot of skeletons. Oh, and he jumps into the back. He does not have Fire Shield, though. I think at a minimum you need Fire Shield. Probably a fair amount of gear. So the Calum Pretender is dead. I suppose I ended that a little bit premature. But they're generally going to chase the archers off the field. So generally speaking, watching Lucid's content Lucid generally recommends having about a 2-to-1 advantage with birds versus whatever opponent they're fighting. Now, and admittedly, that's exceedingly difficult for Calum to pull off. So Calum's strength is in strategic maneuverability. So it's difficult for them to take on this Scalaria stack, but there's more potential if they start raiding the backline and stuff like that. But we can see here 50 is not 400 birds, which is kind of what Lucid would in theory say you would need to kill this stack. Potentially more, because it is a Skelly spam communion, so you'd have to kill the skeletons faster than they can make new ones and actually get at the mages. So unfortunate. I was hoping Calum would do pretty well here. I think the Asphodel matchup against Scalaria is pretty tough. I mean, I have a few ideas, but I do think it's tough. So we're going to have to figure some stuff out if this ends up going against Calum. So, in terms of the two forts, we can go ahead and storm here. I was a little bit concerned about how many stone hurlers would be on the walls, because they will kill a mannequin every throw they do, and they have unlimited ammo. But there's not much inside, just one Sino Shaman and some warriors to back up the gate garrison. So we should be able to take this. Just need them to rout. So once they rout, they'll stop throwing stuff. Alright. It's a shame that we don't get to keep the carrion giants because they're part of the PD. Because that would be a really nice touch for us. As it is, we only get some wolves and boars. But the bright side is we don't lose any sacreds. So we got through this pretty clean and took this out. Then in Ebis, we go ahead and ping that. And we see a fair number of ogres, and we see a fair number of golem crafters. So we know it's going to be magma bolt spam in the gate. There's also 12 stone hurlers, which is going to be pretty nasty. And they're getting blessed. So they're getting the Agarthan bless here. So Ebis could be pretty bloody. We get another fertility cult. We get a magic site from this, which is a gorge. 1 earth, pretty nice. In Baptizer, we get some unrest. And in Ildmire, we get a bunch of gems. And then we do patrol out. I think this is the fertility cult. So we get a Dryad Mother here and a fair amount of other stuff. Good thing we've got some stuff patrolling. The Harpies jump in, try to disrupt. The Satyrs route quickly, and we generally take care of things. Yeah. But unfortunately, the fertility cult is still here, despite that. So we're still going to have to patrol here and try to get rid of it. This one assault was just the beginning. Now, in terms of movements, we're going to go ahead and try to patrol this out. So we're bringing in some more patrol chaff. This army of 230 things is going to go ahead and move on to Ebis. The mannequins on Ebis are going to go ahead and dive into Endless Caverns and take that from Agartha. And then this group is going to move on to Lost Canyon Range, put this fort under siege. And then here, we've got Golem under siege. We're going to go ahead and take a turn. I want some reinforcements because he could try to bump me here in Silent Cavern. So I'm going to go ahead and build a temple here. And you can see it indeed costs 300 gold. So, but the rest of it's going to research, and we're going to go ahead and give it a turn. And that's so if we do happen to bump in Silent Cavern, I'll have some new mannequins. Hopefully I can patrol this out this turn, and I can send everything here down here to Silent Cavern, and they can all meet up. I've also got this group over here patrolling because we're saving up. So next turn, we're going to go ahead and site search this turn, but next turn, we're going to go ahead and put up a new carrion fort here. And then, let's see. Other than that, I think we're mostly still researching. To help out Pythium, I am going to deviate really quick and pick up Construction 3. We're getting just enough research to get it this turn. And so, and eventually he ended up finding someone else, I forget who could make him, I think it was a Baneblade or something, to make him the item he wanted. But I want to at least be available to forge stuff for him if needed. I don't know, because we might get more nature gems out of it, especially if we can do a different type of gem forging to get nature gems, as we definitely love nature gems. But yeah, I think that's most of it this turn. We're going to go ahead and build the temple. The temple will let us get Cyno Shamans, which can have astral and air randoms, so that can help us break into new paths. So we're going to start recruiting those. But yeah, in terms of recruitment, mostly Dryad Hags this turn because we've got extra money. And we've got Black Centaur production back online. So I'm going to go ahead and we've named this one Ballenstallen. So I think that's it for this turn. You can see Abyssia down here and up here, raiding all around Shiniyama. And you can see Nidavinger sieging this fort. You can see Scaleria pushing. So we need to get a move on. So it's turn 26. I'll see you in turn 27. All right, so I've got turn 27 pulled up. We got 3 nature from Machaka as part of that deal. We found a magic site. A well of Whitewater, I think, is 1 water. Yeah. And we found another magic site, which is 1 death. A battlefield. And then it would be interesting if really large battles in the game, maybe between different player armies, could create battlefield sites. That'd be interesting. All right, so we've got Shiniyama and Abyssia fighting. I've been trying to catch their big stacks. And this is the big Shiniyama stack, but it doesn't encounter any resistance. I suppose we can take a quick look. So we see a fair number of Uba here. They're all turning into cats, which is interesting. I think this might be to manipulate what they cast. because in the... Oh, this one can't even cast in the ghost form. Ghost cat form. This one's nature 1 though. Generally speaking, I think they're nature 1, but this one must have had the... Because I think they lose a level in each path, so then I think this one was probably a nature 1 Uba. Alright. Showing that off a little bit. Then we've got Scalaria going after Terrace Peaks. Not much to oppose this Scalaria army now. Pythium goes after Nidavellir. A small squad. I mean, it's a point buff squad, so it's doing fairly well given its size. They kill a few things. In Lost Canyon range, though, go ahead and push forward. Here we see a few attentive statues. Unfortunately, I forward placed these Minotaurs a little bit too much. But we do end up cleaning up there. So we lose 2 of our Minotaur Lords, which is a little sad because I think they were both in the Hall of Fame. Then Scalaria attacks Calum. Again, we just see 1 PD. So Calum falling by the wayside. Going after Endless Caverns. Got some mannequins. Didn't realize it was bats, so it was a little fortunate they landed not on the commander. And then in Carrion Mire, we got a diseased Shootin' Doji leading a small raiding squad. They're just set to attack. Still pretty deadly, though. Okay, we killed the Dryad last turn. So the Fertility Cult is weakened, but we still need to do more. In Ebis, a Spring Fairy shows up. In Melma, we get attacked by Barbarians. And in Ebis, we get a bunch of gold. So Ebis showing up to save our bank account. And then we get a cluster of 13 stars, so we're right back at Misfortune 3, and we lose a level of growth, which is unfortunate. So this will affect our ability to spread forests. In Dragon Scale Mountains, we've got the large barbarian group going after... I think that this was a migration. It's a pretty significant PD dump by Nidavellir. The barbarians just chew through all of it. Yeah, fairly significant. Then in Melma, we also get attacked by barbarians. And we just have a little bit of PD, so I'm not going to bother showing that. And yeah. So let's see. Melma, that was the Throne of Chains. That's not a huge deal. We'll pick that back up in a couple of turns. These mannequins are coming back, though. They will provide the sieging force in case this assault fails. I think we have enough stuff here to win, but we'll see. There were a few magma bolts, and there's going to be a lot of boulders getting tossed. We're also going to go ahead and blindstorm this. We know there's some archers in here, but I don't think there was a lot of mages. Additionally, we're sieging Golem. It's getting weaker. We've got some stuff gathered up, though, that can provide a new front line. So with our new mannequin front line, we're feeling confident to enter Silent Cavern. So we're going to go ahead and move out and head up towards Golem, just in case. Kind of join up the armies. In terms of recruitment, we're still getting Dryad Hags. We've the gold events that we're getting from Ball and Select scales are really saving us right now. So we're getting a lot of quality mages that can definitely turn into battle mages later on, because they've got 2s, and even this one's Death 3. So getting some really nice mage pulls in terms of randoms. And I think that's it for this one. I think I have time to maybe do one more. So I'll go ahead and do turn 28. All right, turn 28 is pretty good. All right. So we put up Twice Born, and then we catch a few really good battles between other players. So in Uric Belcor, we got the Scaleria army moving against a large Kalem army with mammoths. Some of the birds jump in immediately, though, trying to destabilize the Skelly Spam communion. Unfortunately, they mostly land on bodyguards. It would have been great if he could have gotten Mist Form on these Mammoth Riders. I think, if I remember right, I think only Body Ethereal lowers the damage, but Mist Form would have been great. Fortunately, just kind of drowning in skeletons. So in this initial fight, we see they lose all 14 mammoths, lose a fairly significant PD dump. They do manage to kill 2 of the thaumaturgs and a fair amount of the chaff, but the chaff can always be replaced with Scaleria. Really got to get at those mages. It's just really tough when you're playing down against Scaleria. But, and I know he was probably doing evocation research, but if he had somehow managed to get Mist Form, I think that could have potentially been game changing for the mammoths. But yeah, it's just tough. All right. Yeah, especially when you're in the 1v1. All right. So Pythium and Nidavellir are up next. And here we have Pythium's Pretender. So he's got a couple of pieces of gear, Bracers of Protection and Ranger's Boots. This is actually not a visual bug this time. The Pretenders in iFlight's Pretenders mod, you can see all the changes made for this Titan below using his mod, which I really like. And as part of that, he gets some temporary gems. So you can see the buffs here. Iron Skin, Gift of Formlessness, Temper Armors, Mist Form. Flying Shield, Gift of Flight. Astral Shield. Alright. So, fair number of buffs here. Started out with Earth Power for some reinvigoration, and I believe the Theurg started out with Body Ethereal. So a whole suite of buffs going up against a large Nidavellir stack, including a bunch of Nidbethed. The Nidbethed have this Bless, Fire Rose, Undying, Righteous Wrath, Spirit Sight, and Affliction Resistance. Pretty cool combination. Let's see, he's got a Traitor Prince. He's got some heroic Nidhears leading things. Also got the Bishop General event. I would like a free Bishop General. Also got a bunch of free Meteorite Guard, which I would also love to get. But let's see how this Titan does. Shockwaves are doing work. Knocking tons of Scar Souls off, but not really killing any of the Nidbetheds. So running about 80 fatigue. So with Enchanted Blood, it has 1 hit point of regen, but it's generally taking damage. So there is a finite limit to what this Titan can do. Getting pretty close here, down to about 40 HP. And it leaves. So the HP route threshold kicking in, actually being useful versus my normal complaining about it. And so saves the Titan from certain death. Alright. So for all those shockwaves, only kills 58, but probably knocks off a tremendous number of Scar Souls from these Nidbethed. Next up, we've got End and Shinuyama. So we've got Arouse Hunger against a PD dump. And there's... Oh, no. This might not be Arouse Hunger. Well, it might have started with that, but we've got a Crown of Bones, an LLP, and a Doomglaive on a High Magus. Pretty cool. And a bunch of gems. Could be a Merc? but it's dead regardless. I think that's a merc. And then in Lost Canyon Range, going to go ahead and assault here. There's a bunch of archers. There are a few priests here for banishment, but it shouldn't be a huge deal. One of the packs of centaurs snuck through, got to the archers, routed them. As they route, it should HP route the wall guys so they stop throwing rocks. And then we clean that up. So this went pretty well. We lost nothing of value. So, and managed to take the fort. Then we've got a battle in Mark. So this Knit of Anger stack that we just saw, I believe it's the same one, is now trying to storm the fort. There's a fair number of mages here. Well, I guess there is a small number of mages and a fair number of communicants here. And a certain number of serpent cataphracts. I think they're going to struggle with the Nidbethad. The key here is you want these slingers to not rout so that they keep firing on the Nidbethad. So the wall guard, or the gate guard, charges out. We've got Light of the Northern Star by a Theurg. Now, notably, Soul Slay only kills one of the souls on these Scar Souls. It's a little unfortunate. It takes a lot more research, but if Pythium had Enslaved Mind, that would definitely be the preferable spell. Alright, and eventually the Nidbethad, burning through their Scar Souls, break through and take the fort. Now we can check out a few of these, see how many are left. This guy's got 1, 3, 1, 2, 1, 3, and 3, 3, and 1. So a fair number of these Nidbethad they're probably going to get killed in their next combat. So Pythium's setting up for a future battle where maybe a bunch of these can get killed. Alright, and then we have our assault in Ebis. So we've got the ogres, we've got the mages back here, we have significantly more stone hurlers, and they're blessed. Got one brave little satyr. Got a little bit of Evo bait out front. Trying to work through this gate garrison. It's going to be bloody. Finally get the ogres to run. Still eating rocks, though. Not a place you want to be. So we're generally on attack rear because we want to get rid of the blessing or the banishment and the magma bolts. So we get that taken care of. Unfortunately, these guys have still not routed yet. Still pounding our troops with rocks. You can see some of our Black Centaur are routing. They've had enough of this. But we do finally get them to rout. Alright. So, pretty bloody. We lose 4 of our Black Centaur. We lose 2 more Behemoths. We lose 3 Carrion Furies. So I think that brings our total losses up to 4 for those. We lost a Sagittarian Carcass as well. And a fair amount of chaff, but we did eventually work our way through all of this stuff. And our 2 Black Centaur retreated successfully, so we get them back. So, alright. And then we finally purge the fertility cult. We get some defense, we get some brigands, and we get some gold. And Throne of Fortune is spreading to counteract all the misfortune we've been having. Can't wait. And we breach gold. Alright, so in terms of forts, we've taken the Overland Agarthan possessions now. We're ready to retake Melma. When it comes to down here in the caves, this army is moving on to Golem. We're going to try a small storm attempt. So if you remember a few turns ago, we didn't see any mages in here. We're going to go ahead and try to storm. If there are truly no mages in here, then maybe we can get through the gate guard. Maybe we can sneak past again and then get at the stone hurlers. So that's a little bit of my hope. We've got the slow-moving mannequins out in front, and then we've got this little crew down here. This guy's going to attempt to put on, Demosthenes is going to cast some group regen on the Centaur, and maybe that'll help. I think maybe a better thing, we do not have bark skin just yet. We haven't run down alt. Yeah, so we can't do bark skin, but yeah, it would help. But yeah, so, but we are going to do some group regen. Maybe that'll help. And we're going to go ahead and try to storm this on the Cheap Cheap using only 6 Black Centaur. And if that doesn't work, then we'll have a large army here and we can storm it. Additionally, we're going to finish recruiting this Sino Shaman. In terms of other recruitment, getting a Panic here, along with some more Dryads. Getting a Dryad there in our new fort. And getting a Panic here, along with some Centaur. And we still have some gold left over, which is a great place to be on Asphodel. We can see Native Anger's retaking the sea with some Long Dead. And we can see that Scalaria is pushing back against Calum. So I'm starting to wonder if maybe I should vulture Calum so that Scalaria doesn't get too much land out of this. That might irk Scalaria, but I think we're getting close to Foul Vapors. So unless part of his bless has poison resist, which I don't. Oh, we have seen Scalaria's bless. Yeah, so he's got no poison res. So there is a window there where maybe we can, at least until he comes up with commanders for the long dead, we can foul vapors him. And that should make it tricky for him to do his communions. And then it's just fighting troops, which we do pretty well against, or fighting, bloody fights against long dead, but at least they don't have a ton of mage support. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. So there might be a window where we need to sweep through Calum and take out Scaleria or make Scaleria small again. Because I mean they're looking fairly sizable, and Naba is attacking Marignan, so nobody seems to want to take on Scaleria. They might be counting on Scaleria being a counter to me later on. And so that might be the diplomatic card that Scaleria is playing. Regardless, we need to move quickly. So we're going to take this out. We're going to regroup in Lost Canyon Range and then head down. I think that's most of it. We are doing a little bit of Twiceborn. We're getting our first Carrion Lord. And then we're gathering in Spires of Ascension because we want to go after this throne, Archytas. Because there is the small chance, I think, that it could be the Throne of Water, unless I'm mistaken. And if it's the Throne of Water, we're going to be in a very good spot. So, yep. So that's where we are right now. And consider we're at about 42 minutes. I'll go ahead and stop here. I think we've had a lot of fun battles in this one. So I'll go ahead and see you in the next one. Have a good one, guys. Bye.